we've built a fantastic interactive weather app. But if you look at our server.js file, it was getting a little bit messy. So we had to manually pass URL, write if-else blocks for routing, and by all that by ourselves. So what if I told you if there's actually a much easier way? This is where we introduced the single most popular tool in the Node.js universe, Express.js. Express is a web framework that simplifies all the tedious works of building the web server, letting you focus on what your application actually does. All right. Now we're gonna dive in this and rebuild our weather app the Express way. So you'll be amazed how much cleaner it is. If you really think about what we've done in the previous lesson, it worked, but we had to do a lot more of manual labor. So manual routing, we use a big if else block to check the URL and then decide what to do. And then what if we had 50 different pages? That will be a nightmare to manage. And then manual file saving to send back our index .html file. We had to use the fs module to read the file from the disk and then handle potential errors and then pipe the content into the response. We had to do this for every single file, including the CSS and JavaScript. All right, and then complex URL parsing, we had to use the url.parse function just to get the query parameters like the city name. All right, now a web framework is a tool that handles all the boilerplate code for you. So it provides a clean, simple and organized structure for building web applications. Express.js is the most popular, minimalist and flexible web framework for Node.js. It doesn't force you into a rigid structure, but provides a powerful set of features to make building web applications fast and easy. So the way Express handles files is much cleaner. It uses special folders, usually called public, to automatically save static files like HTML, CSS, and images. Now let's actually restructure our project. So what we're gonna do, we will just push this to lesson 3. So I'm gonna make a new directory here. And we're gonna call it lesson 3 hyphen express. All right, then we're gonna change directory. All right, I have a nice keyboard here. I don't know why I'm not using that. Now we're gonna change directory. Then we will just change directory to lesson 3 express. All right, now and then what we're gonna do, we need to initialize npm and then we also need to install what did we install? Oh, there. So we need to install Axios and Chalk, because now we're working on a different folder directory, so we need to install. So now what we need to do, we will need to create a directory called public. Let's call it a public. Right, and then with the index we can create new files called index.html, new item, which is index. Okay, so first you must just specify where it's supposed to go, so it must go to public index.html, and then another one is going to be style.js, and so we can style.css. All right, and then we're gonna create a new file now called server.express.js. So we'll just have a new file. Let's call it a server express.js. Express is an npm package, just like Axios and Chalk. Let's install it. So in our terminal, we will install npm install express. So this should actually add express to our package.json, and then also in the node modules directory. Alright, so this is done. So now I'm gonna open the old index, and then I'm gonna copy this style here, because we will actually rebuild. So I'm gonna copy this style, and then I'm gonna go to CSS and then just paste the style here, because we are rebuilding. And then we will also take this index, copy everything, copy, and then we paste it in this index here that we created. Now, important in this index, we will just remove the style, because we already have the style sheet, and then we will just link the style sheet, which is style.css. Now we're gonna go to server.express.js, and what we need here, let's go and import the import express from express, and then import path from path, and then import Axios from Axios, and then import Chalk from Chalk. Now we need to create a new instance of Express, and then we're just gonna call it app. And then we still want to use port 3000. Now we need to create a middleware by doing something like this. So we're gonna say app.use, and then we're gonna say express. Remember, we had a line that says fs.readFile logic for the HTML and CSS. So this tells Express to automatically save any files that are in the public directory, right? To save any files that are actually in the public directory. So the HTML, the helper function is going to be the same as before. So what we can do, we can just go and copy it. Where is it? I think it was on server.js. So this helper function, we can copy as it is, and then we can just put it somewhere here. So this here is going to be helper function. So this is same as before. And then we can just paste it somewhere here. So it's the same as before. Now we had route 1, which is the weather report page. So we can just say app.get /weather. My keyboard is kind of sensitive, so when I press it just see the edit is just putting its own thing, so you must always be careful when you when you're typing things. And the Express handles the query passing for us. Okay, it handles the query passing. So we had something like city here, the city variable, just gonna dot query, and then if city is not provided, if not city, then what we want to do, we return the status. And then now const with the HTML, and then we call our function get or is it generate weather HTML. Alright, let me just fix my spelling, because well, it does nothing, but it's just sometimes when I call these things then we have some errors there. Alright, so that's, and then response dot data. So there is no need for headers. Remember, we had headers there. Express does it for us with that rs.send. All right, it does that for us. So we just need to say rs.send. So there is no need for us to to do the headers and stuff. And then we need to catch the error, and then so when we're done, we just need to start the server. So that's app.listen, and then here we're just gonna say console.log sign, and so here we can just say express server is running, and then we can and then we can, let me just go and copy. Yeah, I'm just going to copy this line here, so which is right, and then we can go and copy the second line, server, just console.log. That looks weird. Now when it comes to running it, just make sure that the files, your files are in the correct places, index and the style. So we can just go to the terminal and we run this node server express.js. Okay, let's just see. So I've got this, and I can put the city Fontaine, and let's see, there we go, so it's working just fine regardless of that warning that I had, that warning here. Or it's because the type module, or it's because here we're missing, remember, every time we have to add this. That's why we're getting that warning. So we need to put it on package.json somewhere here, and then we can just say type this module. Alright, so if I stop this and then run it again, so that error should actually be cleared. There we go. So you'll see that the error is now cleared. If we just follow this, and let's go ahead and put a different city, let's say Devon. So if we put Devon and get the weather, then it's working fine. You understand not just how to build a server, but how to use professional tools to do it efficiently. In our next lesson, we'll actually dive deeper into Express and explore templating engine, which are even more powerful way to generate dynamic HTML without writing messy strings in our JavaScript. You see here, we still have this. So if I just go back, we still have this, right, which is messy. One mistake there can just crash everything, so it's kind of messy. So in our next lesson, we're actually gonna do that templating engine, which is even more powerful way to generate dynamic HTML.